Hey, we're back.
For more Banner Saga.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I think this is episode 17. I think we're getting close though. Maybe 20 episodes for the total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
do you think we're close to the end then?
oh, I think we're definitely close to the end. I think we're maybe 3 or 4
Because it feels like there's
episodes away from the end.
like a lot left in the story. I don't know. I kind of thought that we would have met up with the main group and like both groups would have become one group.
Didn't that already happen?
They passed
We met
by.
up with somebody. We met up. I don't think we've become one fighting unit, but I think literally the end of the last episode was them all getting together because they were talking to Rook. The people from the one group were talking to Rook and Igvar.
I don't think Hakan has become a part of our group.
Yes, Hakan was there talking to Rook and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Well, okay, we'll get into that. But before
right.
we do, I was just wondering if anything happened to you today.
Tyler, I'm glad you asked.
Lay it on me, Andrew.
All right. Well, today I got hassled by the police.
So you're out doing Uber.
I'm out doing Uber. Okay?
At lunch.
Let me paint you a picture, okay? Because I feel like this is a little bit complicated in a way that I can see why a policeman might think that I was doing something wrong. And maybe I was. I'm going to describe it and you can decide. All right, so we're on King Street and I'm heading west. That part doesn't really matter too much.
Okay.
But the King Street pilot program has it so that at a lot of intersections, when you get to the intersection, you have to turn right. You can't go straight or turn left.
Sure.
Unless you are a bicycle. Bicycles are allowed to go straight through. All right?
Yeah.
So I'm approaching an intersection, and it's a 2-lane. The middle lane is like, it has yellow lines through it, like you're not supposed to go in there. And only the streetcar goes there, really. And then the right lane is a right turn only lane. So I'm approaching that, and it's a red light. And I stop between the yellow line and the right turn lane. So like I'm to the left of the right turn lane because I'm going straight.
Yes.
That makes it so people can turn right freely. That's what I'm do. Okay.
Yeah.
And behind me, I hear there's a like motorized bicycle. It's got like one of those kits, and it goes and it stops to the right side of the right turn lane. And to me, I'm like, oh, whatever. What are you gonna do? And I'm waiting for the light to change, and I hear this loud beep sound. And it's not like a car honk. It's a police like beep, annoying beep sound. Yeah. I don't know if you've heard those, but this is like, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? I wasn't expecting that. And then the cop, he drives up to my left, and he's like, yes. Hey, you can't split the lane. And I was like, he's even talking to me, like, what? I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he says, what do I mean? What's with the attitude? And I'm like, what? Sorry, what? And he's like, okay, you're supposed to be to the right with that other cyclist. And I was like, what? And so I'm like, I'm kind of shocked right now.
Yeah.
Because one, I just got like the shit scared out of me by this loud ass beep right next to me. And now he's like telling me I'm doing something wrong, which I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. So he's like, go to the curb with the other cyclist. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, hey, do you want a ticket? And I like go over and I put my bike behind the other cyclist. I'm like, no. And he's like, you know what? I think you want a ticket. So then he pulls up onto John Street and he parks in the bike lane, which I'm like, all right, cool, dude. Real cool. And he gets out and he's like, you got to pull over. So I put my bike on the sidewalk and I kickstand. I'm not on my bike or anything. I'm like, wow, really? Is this really happening?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on a TV show. So he walks over to me, he says, do you have any ID? And the thought does cross my mind where I could just be like, no, because you don't need a license or anything.
Of course. So, yeah.
But I'm a lawful citizen. And I'm like, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. So I give him my G1 photo ID.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, man. He's like, what's with the attitude? And I'm like, I don't know what I was doing wrong. And he's like, do you think I don't know the law? And I was like, what? where did this come up? I never said that.
You totally got a bad dude.
But I didn't say that. I'm like, I don't know what law I'm breaking.
I'm literally just confused.
And he's like, where in the Highway Traffic Act does it say that you can be in the left? And I was like, I don't know. Where in this does it say that I have to be to the right? And he's like, you don't think I know the law, huh? And then he goes into his cop car. And he sits in there for like 3 to 5 minutes. I imagine, well, he probably looked up me because he was like, do you also have any like criminal record or anything? I was like, what, really? So he goes in there and maybe he looks up me, but also he looks up the actual traffic rule. So
and does he print it out or something? What is he?
He has a computer in there that he's reading it off of. All right. So he calls me over after he's like done all that stuff. And side thing, there's like another cop that like came over and he's like, oh, is this about him being in the bike lane? And I was like, what? And he's like, no, he's doing something else. So I was like, all right, that's weird. But anyways, he's like, all right, Mr. Wong, do you want the speech or do you want the ticket? And I am like, and I didn't think I was giving him attitude when I said this, but I was like, I want both. What? If I'm doing something wrong, give me the ticket. And he's like, what is with the attitude?
Well, okay, I would say that's the first time you gave him some attitude. Maybe it was deserved, but the other times you probably weren't giving him attitude. But you can't tell him you want both. Although that's badass. Both. That is badass.
Because totally badass. I do think that a lot of cyclists break the rules.
So wait, he didn't give you a ticket?
He didn't give me the ticket.
But he's like,
all right, I'm giving you the speech. So from whatever thing he looks at, okay, I got okay. So this is pretty much what he reads to me: sharing the road with cyclists in the driver's handbook, which I'm looking at right now. This version is from 1995, so it's a little bit out of date.
It's the only one I had.
But this section hasn't changed that much, it seems. All right. It says, bicycles and mopeds that cannot keep up with traffic are expected to keep to the right of the lane. And he says, he's like, all right, so bicycles, like maybe you could go 20 or 30 miles or kilometers an hour. Do you think that keeps up with traffic? And I realized at this point that this guy's just kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm like, no, even though downtown, a lot of those roads are 30 kilometers an hour at max. So technically I can keep up with traffic.
Yeah.
Also, we were approaching a stoplight. So I don't know, like how much faster are you going to go?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I mean, he stops reading there basically. Literally, the next line is, however, they can use any part of the lane if necessary for safety, which I think staying to the left of turning traffic is necessary for safety.
I don't even understand how the pieces weren't put together. They're turning right. You're going straight. It's really not hard.
Like, honestly, it
makes perfect sense.
He kept threatening me with the ticket thing. And I think when I was like, give me the ticket, he kind of realized that maybe I didn't really care. Like, I was willing to fight this in court. Like, that 3 minutes, I was like,
oh my God, you would have fought it in court.
I'm going to court. I didn't even get that far
in my head.
I'm bringing this up.
Man, that would have been the most epic episode of Andrew's Quest. Andrew goes to court.
He goes to get justice.
That would have been amazing. That would have been such a great episode, man.
So anyway, he says, I have a call right now. It's not an emergency. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stopped you. But I got to go to that call. So when I was trying to make a right turn, you were in my way. And I was like, now it all clicks together. Since there was 2 cyclists in that lane, we were a little bit in your way, and you didn't want to. You were just mad. Of course, I don't say that. I'm just like, oh, I understand. And he's like, okay, well, I'm not going to give you the ticket. Just stay to the right. And I was like, yes, sir. Because there's no winning against this guy that's an asshole.
No, there's never anyone. I don't even know. There's
unless
no
we go to the
ever trying with cops.
Yeah.
And this is dumb and it's not right. But all you should have done is been like, oh, sorry, and moved. Could have been over in a couple seconds. And I realized that's not. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it like if I had realized
it's
what
never
the
worth it
initial
with
like
cops.
beep and like him being like you can't split the lane was about, I would have just been like, oh, my mistake.
Yeah.
But I was like, I didn't even understand it. Honestly, I thought he was like upset at the motorized bicycle kit thing next to me. That guy. I was like, I really didn't feel like
you totally just got
bad.
an asshole.
Yeah.
Like that guy's just an asshole. No one else would have done that. Well, there's a lot of asshole cops, so don't get me wrong, but any like not asshole cop wouldn't have even bothered. Because it's so obvious what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So that was like the second delivery that I made for the day, and I like literally
downhill
for the next like 2.5 hours, I'm just like, just thinking about that nonstop. I'm like, am I in the wrong? No, it's the police.
No, I don't even know if you're like, I don't know what did they give tickets for bicycles just riding in the middle of the road? Like,
They can.
They can, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if there was like a more realistic reason of like keeping to the right, like in the diagram that it shows, it's on a street, not near an intersection.
Of course, and like that, where it makes perfect sense. But I guess at the intersection, and there's always people who are turning like left at an intersection, who are like bikes to the left that are turning left and stuff.
If
so
you're a bicycle and you're turning left on like a multi-lane road, you are expected to be in the left turn lane,
right?
Unless you just want to do like an indirect turn, which is fine as well.
So there's obviously a lane that used to go straight, and that's the lane that's yellowed out.
Yeah,
that's the lane you're talking about.
And I was to the right of that, but not in the right turn lane.
No, but you were to the right of that lane, right?
But it's not technically a lane.
No, but just that lane that doesn't exist anymore. You're on the right side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Police sometimes.
Oh, police a lot of the time.
Just always coming out of the middle of nowhere, hassling people. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure you've been hassled.
Oh, I've been hassled, but luckily never badly hassled.
I feel like there's only 2 times when I've been hassled. And one of the time wasn't even me, really.
You're just with people?
Yeah, I was with people that were being hassled.
I honestly haven't had a bad cop experience in so long because I learned my lesson that you just say yes and shut up and wait for him to leave, because like there's no point trying to like argue with cops. Even if you're right, they're not gonna let you be right. And worst case scenario, they fucking arrest you or something. Best case scenario, they just leave without doing anything because they're never going to agree with you.
I like that your worst case is that they arrest you, not that they shoot you in the back of the head.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
when you're walking away from them.
Yeah. No, I mean, come on. I'm white.
I've seen videos.
I'm white and I'm in Canada, so I'm pretty safe. Sadly. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of fear for like that. And like, I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but yeah, when you just, you know what, if you're disrespectful to the cops, then you're gonna cause problems for yourself, whether it's right or wrong. I'm not saying it's right at all, but like, and I'm not saying that people are like at fault, but like,
I mean,
at some point, no, I'm talking about, you know, people who really cause a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, cops, man. Cops.
You could live without them.
I find
but we don't.
Just agree and say as little as possible and wait for them to leave. Like that is literally my situation. If it's a traffic ticket to getting stopped for whatever, literally just agree, say you're sorry, wait for them to leave. You're never going to win. That's how I deal with it.
I kind of wanted the ticket.
Yeah, right? Because you'd have fought it. I have
the time to fight it.
I have the time to fight it, but I don't have the mental time to fight it.
The ticket was $150. So if I lost, I'd be like, all right.
I mean, that's not amazing.
Yeah, I don't feel great about it, but
I mean, if it was under $100, I maybe would have been like, yeah, fuck that guy. But like $150, I'd want to fight that one. I'd want to keep my $150.
Well, like if I I don't know.
Honestly, if I was
Either way, it'd be
you
fun.
and I literally vlogged and stuff, I'd totally take the ticket. I'd totally fight it because, like I said, it would have been epic for the quest. It would have been so epic. I'd have gone and I'd have filmed you in the like court audience.
You can't film in the courtroom.
Well, we'd have got
I think
some
that's
footage.
a bigger
We'd have got some
lawbreaking.
footage. We fuzz out all the important stuff when you put it in the video.
Well, might as well even when I went to the courthouse during Open Doors Toronto just to like
Oh,
look
no
around,
filming?
yeah, they were like no filming,
No photos, nothing?
no photos.
Wow.
That's why they have the artist sketches of
Right.
courtroom
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
Well, sometimes they let news crews in for like things, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like most of the time, if the person doesn't
Yeah.
want it, then they get their privacy.
So, yeah, hassled by the police.
Hassled by the police, yeah. The few times I've been hassled, it was, marijuana related. I didn't even know if I wanted to get into these stories as like an adult man. Now, talking about getting hassled for
It's
weed as like
legal,
a
everybody.
teenager. Yeah.
But it wasn't in those days, eh?
No, it wasn't. This is a long time ago. Like probably 15 years since I've been hassled by the cops for weed related things.
That's a good streak.
Yeah, no, it's a really good streak.
I mean, before this, there were times where like the police would be like, "Hey, don't do what you're doing," and they were right to be like, "Hey, don't do that." And in those cases,
Yes.
since I know I'm doing something a little bit wrong, I'm just like, "Yeah, sorry," and they just leave. But in this case, I didn't, because it was like I really didn't think I was doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
But like, I guess along King Street now, I'm just gonna stay to the right, even though it's not as good for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just look behind you before you go into it, because you'll see a cop way back there.
Look behind.
Just look behind, see if there's any cops. If there isn't any cops, go over to the left.
I mean, I do try to avoid the police, just in general.
Just in general, yeah, because no, yeah.
It's when you're gonna come across a guy who just like wanted to turn right.
I
but
feel
couldn't
like
because there was two cyclists, and they're like, I have to wait.
no, and then they try to half turn right, and they like block you from going and stuff. You know what I mean? When they they
just
turn
regular
right, but then
cars
there's
being
pedestrians,
straight.
and then
Yeah.
you can't even move because they're not even paying attention to you.
Yeah.
It totally 100% makes sense, and presumably the cop knows that you're going straight through King Street, hence being on the other side of the road. So like, he's just an asshole. You just got an asshole. Yeah. You
Yeah.
just randomly got an asshole dude who's, he's probably struggling. Maybe he dealt with some asshole people, or he's been dealing with asshole people the last few days.
Say, I'm tired of all this attitude from cyclists. So I'm
So he's been
dealing with cyclist people
who have been probably being assholes. So he just probably took your like what as like rudeness, like yeah. And I bet you, again, not to blame people, but I bet you there's some rude ass cyclists out there.
Oh, they definitely is.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I didn't want to. You can say it. I can say it.
I've been biking along the Lakeshore bike lane, and then there was a delivery truck completely blocking the sidewalk. And so people are walking into the bike lane, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And I just go around. But as I'm going around, there's another guy like right behind me, and he yells at all the people. He's like, "This is a bike lane. Get the fuck out of the bike lane!" And then, like a few seconds later, he's like, "I got your back, Uber guy." And I was like, "No, you don't. I didn't want you to yell at those people. What are they supposed to do? Walk through the van?" Like, what?
Oh gosh. Tough times, man. Tough times. Crazy times. Yeah. So now, are you gonna be worried about it?
I'm not worried about it.
Because that's just
I'm gonna
random.
be thinking about it for months, though.
But yeah.
I don't know if you ever do this.
Every time you turn onto King Street.
Every time I have a shower and I am just alone with my thoughts and thinking about what I should have said or things, how this conversation could have gone differently, that is going to be the conversation that I'm thinking of for the next like 2 to 3 months of like, maybe I should have just said this.
Okay, that happens to me all the time, but funny enough, never in the shower.
Well,
like I'm always thinking about stuff and that was said and stuff, but like I'm always like so like in the shower, I think I'm constantly so thinking about like, oh man, how do I effectively wash everything? I honestly, I have no time for any other thoughts.
I haven't figured this one
And
out.
I don't even, Arthur is probably going to be laughing because he's going to think that I'm referencing Seinfeld here, but I'm not even, because like, obviously I'm not going to take half an hour in the shower, but if I wasn't thinking about how to effectively wash everything, I'd definitely be pushing 15 minutes. Because if I was just like dilly-dallying and I'd be like, oh, I still gotta like, if you're not really like, and do you know what's funny? Maybe it's because my hair is always growing and I never have like I only get haircuts like twice a year. I don't really have a shower routine. It's always different. Like I have a general routine, but it always determines by like how much suds were produced by whatever just happened, which I know, silly here, but
Alright.
I don't have I don't have a defined shower routine that doesn't require me to think about what I'm doing. I can't just get in there and like go through the motions. Gotta use my brain power.
Do you ever think about cringy things that you did in the past?
Oh, all the time. I think about all the cringy things that I've done.
Alright.
Yeah.
There was something recently that I was like, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
Like in hindsight, looking back.
Yeah.
But
all kinds of cringy things, and
every now
especially
and
things
then.
that aren't safe. Do you ever think about like times when you did something that wasn't safe and how like it really could have been a lot worse?
Not really. I don't think I do things that are
Or,
that
okay,
unsafe.
I've had a couple
That or
moments
it's just normal to me. I don't
that
know.
have been thing, and man, I feel cringy like once a month.
Like what?
Oh,
What's
I
an
mean,
unsafe thing?
an unsafe thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Just like fooling around at heights
Mhm.
is one thing that I used to do. Like we were talking about the climbing on rooftops.
Yeah.
Or you were talking about it, and I had said that I like also did that. I did that like everywhere that I worked. I tried to get on the roof. I like being up high. Like it's
cool.
the same as the drone thing and
I get
like
that.
climbing mountains and stuff. I like being up high. I like the cool view, being able to see like for like,
Yeah, it's
however far
literally
you can see. It's like really neat.
different perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. And I not only a different perspective, but I think it like reminds you, that it's like one world, that like unifying feeling that you get when you realize that,
Yeah.
you how small the world is. It's like the astronauts who go to space, but like a really mini version of that.
I felt that a little bit the last eclipse that we saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get a full eclipse or anything.
No,
but still,
but
it was cool to just look at it and be like, whoa, there's like a planetary event thing going on.
That's
And like, this is happening everywhere. But not really everywhere. Just
in the line.
The line of
Yeah,
the eclipse.
the line of the eclipse.
But it felt like everywhere because it was happening to me.
Yeah.
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 But also like,
Oh yeah. Can you hear that?
construction sound. But
Something's
also,
going on.
I was like the only person with eclipse glasses.
Yes.
So I went down and like invited. This is when I worked at Legend 3D. I invited my team to
Yes.
come look at it with me, and then we're just like this crowd of people all taking turns looking at the sun.
Yeah.
And then just random people walking by are like, "Oh, can I look?" We're like, "Yeah, homie, have a look."
Yeah, you and Biggs, I think, were like the only ones who had glasses.
Oh,
I remember. Or maybe other people did, but I only remember you guys posting about it.
that was cool.
Because Biggs posted a photo or something that he took through the glasses, I think, in the middle or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was cool.
I didn't like it when people were taking pictures through the glasses.
Oh, why not?
It doesn't look like anything.
No, but you can see kind of like the shape of the sun with like a crescent. It's like a crescent sun.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Maybe if you had your own glasses, but if you're trying to like get through a crowd of like 30 people,
Yes.
and you're spending
Well,
like
at some
2
point, I'd
minutes
be like,
trying to
"Yeah,
take a
give me
picture.
my glasses back. I want to see it." I mean, it
Yeah.
didn't last very long. What did it last? 2 minutes?
Well,
Not even?
I think total eclipse lasts like 2 minutes for if you're in that zone, but it was like
The total eclipse, but you get for like an hour or whatever,
yeah,
right?
for like an hour.
Yes.
There's a little bit of eclipse somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah,
When's the next one? 2024 or something, I think? The next one that comes through North America?
it's actually not too far away. I forget exactly, but I remember looking when the next
I think I remember 2022 or 2024 being like the next one
Yeah.
that came like pretty close to us.
I think,
I would like to do the perfect one.
yeah. And
Like go to like the line,
we
go
might,
somewhere on the line.
it will be somewhere near Hamilton.
I need to buy some glasses now in preparation. I need to get ahead of the curve, and I need to buy, where are those cheap 3D Eclipse glasses that are like made of paper?
Well, I saw this thing on the Moomins. There's an eclipse in the Moomins cartoon. And all they do is they get a piece of glass and they hold it over a candle and they let the soot build up on the glass.
Oh, and then
They're like, that's our eclipse viewing glasses. And I wonder if that
Interesting.
would actually work. Because
Interesting.
soot
Not
doesn't seem like
really.
you could be able to see through it.
Yeah.
Like when it's really caked on there.
I
I've
mean,
seen
you'd
it
have
as
to
just
have the
black.
perfect amount of soot where you could still see through it, but you had enough soot on there to like not damage your eyes or whatever happens.
Yeah.
That's probably risky.
Well, I
Risque.
want to see the perfect eclipse where you don't need glasses as well.
Where's that? What's that one?
Well, it's just the perfect part. When it's like perfectly eclipsed, you don't need the
Oh,
glasses.
so you could take the glasses off for like a couple seconds and look at it?
Yeah.
That's pretty dangerous.
No, it isn't.
Do people do that? I don't think people do that.
People do that when it's perfectly eclipsed.
They risk it, but the point is if the eclipse was
Well,
to end at any minute, you'd get blinded.
You're watching it with your eclipse glasses.
Yeah.
And then when it's perfectly eclipsed, you
You
look
just
at it
tilt
and
it
you're
down a
like,
bit?
whoa, shit, that's badass.
And then you put the glass
And
back
then you
on.
put them back on.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think people don't do that. I don't think that's a common thing that those eclipsers do.
I think they do it.
Maybe. I never heard about anyone taking their glasses off during the eclipse.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do
Yeah.
a Donald Trump and look at it without glasses.
I remember that photo. Him like squinting with his hand.
Yeah.
Can you believe he had to sign all those checks? Did you hear about that?
No?
They're sending out money to all of the Americans. Everyone's getting like $1,000 or $2,000 check or something.
Just everyone?
Everybody, they're literally sending a check out. So the people who didn't
want
get
that.
direct, well, it might happen. Something like that might happen in Canada. But the people who didn't get the direct deposit, the people who wanted the checks,
Yeah.
he literally paused the checks, and they're now going back to have his name printed on them because he wanted his name printed on the checks.
Oh, okay, whatever.
How fucked up is that? It's so fucked up. He's
I
such
thought
an
you were-
egotistical maniac.
I thought you were saying he signed all of them like by hand. I
Well,
was
no,
like,
but they're
what?
not supposed to be signed. They're like, you can't sign a direct deposit or not a direct deposit, whatever it's called. I don't fucking know. I just remember he's a fucking moron, and he's also delaying the time that the people are going to get the checks by a couple days by making them get
Have his name on
print
it.
signed. So it's just a
You
joke.
know, he wants to be reelected. Got to put his names on those
Fuck.
checks.
Fuck that guy.
This is
Fuck
literally-
America. If you're
Literally
listening,
middle school.
if you guys elect him again, I swear to God, I might literally leave North America.
Did you guys ever have a class president?
You know what? I don't think so. It wasn't in one of those kind of schools.
My class president would win by giving everyone candy. But also,
Nice.
the class president didn't do anything.
No, right? No
So,
one wanted to.
pretty
Yeah,
much
it's like
whoever
not
gave
even
us candy
competition.
before.
Whoever wanted to be the class president was class president.
It's not like our lives were worse for picking the guy. that
Maybe
gave
we
us
had
candy.
class president, but I don't remember if we did. Because yeah, he definitely wasn't important.
Yeah,
Like, that was class president gonna do?
just teach us about elections.
I was
guess.
really into school related stuff.
Yeah. Who was?
I wasted my school years because in hindsight, I would have loved to have like been in the band and stuff and done funner things. But man, being a teenager sucks.
How come?
Oh, I don't know. I just hate being a teenager. It's a tough time, you know, high school and stuff.
I feel like my teens were all right.
They were all right, all right. Well, my teens were kind of rocky. Let's say
Yeah.
rocky. So I was glad when they were over. But looking back, like I did everything I could to get out of high school as quick as I could. Back when I was in high school, it was the 5-year thing.
Hmm.
And I got out in 4 years just because I piled everything on. I took night school because
Wow.
I just wanted to get out of there. I hated high school so much. I don't know. I think it changed a lot literally in like the 7 years between me going to high school and you guys going to high school, because back in my day there was like hazing and stuff. And I think I think there was honestly a couple of bad incidents that happened, and it kind of like threw the country like up in arms, and like they like there was like a like noticeable decrease in like hazing, because like yeah, older students were like really mean to like a lot of young students back when I was in high school. I remember some guy almost tried to haze me one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to tell the hazing story?
It's so stupid that I honestly don't want to tell it, but I guess no one's going to listen to this anyway, so who cares? Except Arthur. Hey, Arthur. Literally, I'm in grade 9, and maybe this is in the first month of school, but this grade 13 guy comes up, and he literally said something like I was honestly in a little bit of shock the same way you were when the cop came. So like I don't remember exactly what he said, but something along the lines, and this is gonna sound so stupid, but basically he wanted me to come to the bathroom with him. And I was just like, no, exactly. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Maybe they were gonna give me a swirly or something. I don't even know what was gonna happen.
That was you almost getting hazed?
That was me almost getting hazed. Now, I probably have not accurately told the story because honestly, I was a little bit in shock. And I mean, we're talking about a long time ago. We're talking about like over 20 years ago now. But yeah, basically, I remember this old like grade 13 guy coming up, and yeah, he wanted me to go to the bathroom with him. And it wasn't like that, because everyone nowadays, I know exactly how that's going to sound to people.
Well,
not to be homophobic or anything, but it wasn't like that, obviously.
This was
like a grade 9. Oh, a differently related story?
A very related story.
Back in my day, which honestly feels like a different day, they did shit like dunked people's heads in toilets and stuff. You know that shit that you probably only saw in the movies and stuff? That is like shit that actually happened in like the 80s and the 90s in high schools.
Well, I never got hazed. And I think part of that is, I don't know if my school really did hazing, but I think the bigger thing, if they did do hazing, is that my sister is 2 years older than me. So she's already friends with all of them.
She had your back.
And there's like, you know, you can't pick on the cute girl's little brother.
I knew people that had older brothers and stuff that specifically like had, leave the kid alone. He's my brother. But yeah, and honestly, that was the only time it happened. And it was such a like quick and literally he didn't do anything. I was like, no. And he was literally like nothing happened.
Didn't think that far ahead. Didn't say no to that.
I guess a lot of, well, also
it's like back in 9th grade, I would have just gone along with it.
I get, because people are, I don't even know. I don't know. It was a different time.
Yeah.
It's a different time. But that isn't even why I didn't like high school. It's just, I felt the same, a lot of the same way I feel now, where just like everything's boring and a waste of time. Just, it was so slow and everyone was just like so silly. And
yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like that too. Like it was a lot of like, you just look at the requirements and you just do that, and like if you want to do some extra stuff, do it, but like just do the requirements.
Yeah.
And that's how I went about high school.
Yeah. And I also have never like, and I still don't, I don't really know what I want to do. Like, yeah, I'm making video games now, but that's like not what I wanted to do. I'm making air quotes that you can't see. So I had no plan going through high school, which just I think makes high school even worse. Because the entire time I was in high school, I was like, okay, what am I doing next? You know? And I had no idea. So you kind of just aimlessly go through high school.
Yeah. Like,
and then you gotta, like, in grade 12, make a decision about, like, the rest of your future.
Yeah.
And I literally, my year was literally the cohort year where it switched from year 5 to year 4. So if I had not, so I graduated a year early because I was the last person in the 5-year system. So if I had graduated in year 5 like I should have, I would have graduated with all the grade 12s.
Yeah,
that was
weird.
My year was the grade 13 year, where the grade 13s and the grade 12s for 1 year all had to graduate at the same time. I was literally the last student to go through the grade 13 program, which was like OAC back in the day.
I wonder why they stopped.
Yeah, I honestly wonder why too. I don't think it was a bad decision because I think
12 is
get it.
enough.
Yeah, 12 is enough. 4 years of high school is enough. Like, get into the quicker. Unfortunately, people don't know, and it's not like the 1 year is going to change. But if you know what you want to do, the quicker you get into like studying that at an advanced level, the better. Like, forget all the bullshit.
But like, what was the necessary thing in the 5 years then? Because obviously I only did the 4. So I'm like, I remember the last year of my.
It was just another year of everything. Just imagine another year of math, another year of science, another there was literally all the same courses you had. Just there was a fifth year for all of them.
I didn't have to take
There's
math
a grade
or science
13
in the last year though. It was just.
Oh well,
English.
Sure, you didn't have to take courses, but.
Oh, okay. So it's just more.
It's just more of whatever.
More.
Yeah, it's not like there were any new courses. It was just like English
Maybe that's
grade 13.
If it's just
more. Yeah, but by that reasoning, why is it 4 years? Why isn't it 3 years? Like they just decided.
You need time.
Okay, but yes, so just in general, they decided that everything that they needed to teach, they could teach in 4 years. I'm sure there's actually some reason about it costing money and they needed to downsize, and having one less year of high school probably saved them a crazy amount of money over 10 years while they made that switch. And I'm sure that is actually the reason.
That makes sense to me.
Right? Because, who the hell cares about anything other than money? Let's be real.
So do you want to hear my messed up story of my bathroom story? It's kind of messed up
bathroom story?
Nothing bad happens. No.
What are we talking about?
Okay, when you were like some grade 13-year kid.
And you were like, you had a story. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So imagine Andrew, grade 1. He's like 6 years old. I'm in my public school bathroom, and I probably just took a whiz or something. And then there's this other kid who I recognize as the older brother of someone, but I don't know who he is anymore. But he was like 3 or 4 years older than me. That's why this is reminding me of it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, hey, I'll suck your dick if you suck my dick. And I was like, what?
Really?
No. And I just walked out. And I'm 6 years old. I'm like,
yeah, you wouldn't.
I'm like, what's this? That guy's weird. So I don't even say anything about this to anyone.
Because at 6 you wouldn't even understand how fucked up it was.
I think I told my sister, and she's like, yeah, that was weird. But since nothing bad happened, it was just like whatever. And then years later, she's like, hey Andrew, do you remember when that guy asked you to suck his dick in the bathroom? And I was like, what? And then that's when I remembered it, and I was like, with your years now, you're like, that was fucked up.
Yeah, totally fucked up.
Why does this other little kid want his dick sucked? I'm like, what is going on in his life that is that's even a thing?
Yeah, at 10?
Yeah.
Or 12 or however.
I don't know. So yeah.
Maybe he was just a confused child who had just figured out his penis got hard when he touched it. You know what I mean? It's a confusing time. It's a confusing time. Maybe, which it's still fucked up though. But it's a confusing time.
Yeah.
Well, that's a much more fucked up story than my story.
But again, it's not like anything really happened. I'm just well, I'm a 6-year-old and I know I don't want to suck a dick. Right now,
that's just confusing.
Weird question.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That is actually fucked up.
Yeah.
To have for somebody to ask you that when you're 6. Wow. Yeah, that's less funny than my story. We can laugh about it,
but I don't know. It's not like it messed with my childhood.
Well, no, because
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, you don't. When you're a kid, you don't even understand all the fun. I remember, it's all the funny jokes that the parents laugh at the movies, that the kid movies that when you rewatch the kid, and you're like, they're making these
whole
fucking
time?
jokes on kids movies.
Yeah,
that is so hilarious to me. The whole thing of watching movies over again. When you're reach your teens and you start to get them. Yeah, I love that. It's so funny.
All right, well, let's start the
good episode.
let's get in there.
No, I don't think we're gonna.
This is a good opening.
I think this is a bonus episode that will probably end now. And maybe we'll be back for a normal episode in a few minutes. Yeah, well, though, we got a good one out there. 40 minutes of talking.
Probably our best episode yet.
Yeah. I don't know. Talking about the cops and stuff?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I like it when we just talk.
Yeah, you do. Well, maybe we need to just start a podcast. Maybe we need to start,
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about that next time.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.